The American dream. What is that? Whatever it is and whatever it used to be is now dead. There is no American dream. The American dream used to be you were young, you got a job. College or no college, you got a job, you started working. Saved up money. You found somebody, bought a house or built a house, had a couple kids, had a little piece of property. The problem is now, today, that's unattainable. You can't get that. So 99% of people now live in apartments because you can't buy a house. You can't own a home and have a family and support your family on one income. Back then, like in 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, usually the husband or the father worked. Mother stayed home with the kids. That's not even a thing anymore. Now two people got to work. And if you don't, it's not easy. It's a struggle. But the American dream is dead. Unfortunately, that's not a thing anymore. All we can do now is just try to get into one day to the next and kind of hope for the best and just get up, go to work, go to sleep, get up, go to work, go to sleep, get up, go to work, go to sleep. And that's it. That's the American dream.
Greetings everyone, welcome back to my channel once again. And if it's the first time that you're coming across my content, I will kindly request that you hit the like, subscribe and the share button. And to my returning subscribers, I'd also like to thank you and encourage you to interact with this video through liking, commenting and sharing. And kindly watch this video to the end.
I'm an American. I pay $1,600 for a flat that has no bedroom. That's 2/3 of my income. I'm an American. I work 50 hours a week. I don't have health insurance. I'm an American. I couldn't afford to have a child even if I wanted to. I'm $7,000 in debt. I'm an American. My health is declining because I can't afford Whole Foods because that's too expensive for my life. I am very overqualified for my job, but no one else is hiring. I'm an American. I make my boss hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, while I can barely keep myself alive. I'm an American. I have never been out of the States. I have never been on a vacation. I'm an American. I make $20-some an hour. A livable wage here is like 30-some. Yet I don't qualify for government assistance whatsoever. On the days I don't work, I'm so tired I just sleep all day. I'm an American. My electric bill is so expensive I sit outside in the heat because I can't afford to turn the AC on in the damn house. I'm an American, and I fear I'm just an average American. I'm living the American dream.
They don't tell you what American dream, but let me tell you some of the things. Working 40 hours a week or bi-weekly, that's American dream. Getting some of your money taken away by taxes, by the government, every week or every other week or monthly when you get paid. That's the American dream. Paying a mortgage or buying a house, which is called a mortgage here, that you would never ever own, even if you pay for that house. Because even if you buy that house or not, you still have to pay taxes on that property, that land that house is staying on. That's the American dream. We don't own anything in this country, just so you know that. That's the American dream. Okay? Having children and the government is able to make decision on what you do or how you discipline your children. That's the American dream. Being in jail for stupid things like
the new American dream is to leave. And I'm not just talking about living abroad and earning American dollars and taking advantage of the exchange rates. I'm just talking about living a life of dignity at this point. I mean, where else in the world is anyone paying this much for healthcare? Where else in the world is anyone eating wheat that they can't digest and is wrecking their gut? Where else in the world do you live to work, not just work to live? Look, moving abroad isn't for everybody. I'm not forcing my ideas on anybody. But if you're someone like me who thinks that, you know what, I'd like to try living somewhere else, well, then yeah. Then you might like my content. And look, a lot of people in my comments come at me and they're like, well, just leave, or why do you hate America? I've never once bashed America, okay? I just ask questions and I say, hey, I've been somewhere else in the world where they do it this way. That might be a little bit better than the way we do it here. And if asking questions is wrong, well, I guess I am living in the wrong country. Nowhere is a utopia. And life can be a struggle everywhere. But it's at least worth trying and giving it a shot than just staying in the same place your entire life and never knowing.
This isn't the American dream anymore. It seems like the American struggle. You know, your grocery bill is the same prices, your mortgage payment or your rent payment, hope's down, rent's up. You can't find a piece of land anymore because people from other countries or big developers are coming in and they're splitting it into eight acre lots and building houses, and then they're charging $500,000 to a middle a piece and then saying that's the American dream. American dream used to be where you could afford things, where you could afford as a family to buy a house, pay for your groceries, get good health care, get child care so that you can work. The American dream used to be about dreams. You could dream of a better life. You could dream of your own 40-acre plot of land with animals and a big garden. It used to be where you could go to your neighbor's house and ask for sugar. I wouldn't knock on my neighbor's door anymore in America because you're liable to get shot. And then they think they're right. And you see that on the news all the time. It happens every single day, it seems like, in America. Living in America now, you're required to almost speak 2 to 3 different languages just to understand everybody in a single day. That's not my American dream. My American dream is about hope. My American dream is about love. My American dream is to be able to raise a family and to put kids in school without having to worry about something terrible can happen to them, or that the teachers don't even speak English in a lot of the schools, and the kids come home and their grades are bad because they can't understand the work the teacher's given. Folks, that's not the American dream. That's the American nightmare. This is Outlaw Unfiltered, and I'm John Cox.
What I'm about to say is probably going to make you sick, but you probably need to hear it. You're not bad with money. America is really this expensive right now. But let's talk what it really costs to be average in this America. The average American household income is somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000, in that range. And after taxes, a lot of these people bring home anywhere from $40,000 to $55,000, which is not very much. Daycare for 2 kids costs upwards of $27,000 a year, which leaves, give or take, 19-ish grand to live off of. Breaking it down even further, that leaves about $350, give or take, a week for living expenses. And most people's household costs are well above that. The average household grocery cost right now is $800 to $900 a month. An average 3-bedroom apartment is upwards of $2,100 a month. I saw something recently that said that the most comfortable livable income would be anywhere from $175,000 to $220,000 to be able to live comfortably. So no amount of eating ramen noodles or cutting out Starbucks or starving is going to change that. Our system is broken 110%. And we still continue to climb that ladder, hoping for better tomorrows. We think with that broken thought process that if we keep climbing, we're going to find the top. What we happen to have forgotten is that we have met that debt ceiling a long fucking time ago. So if you voted for the Make America Great slogan, please let me know how this makes America great. Is this adding up for you? Because the cost of egg prices are not getting better. The cost of gas is not getting better. None of this is getting better. And if this isn't adding up for you, welcome to my page. I definitely think you are the bigger part of America who is suffering from the consequences of this administration. The math is not mathing for me currently. So if you're also feeling the burn, hit the save button, share it out, follow me, help support another average American that is out here just trying to supplement her income.
Living in America is so expensive that it's not even living anymore. It's just a recurring subscription. You pay to live, you pay to work, you pay to eat, you pay to sleep. Rent, more than half your income. Groceries, doubled within a year. Gas, insurance, bills, taxes, damn near make money just to give it away. You're not living the dream. You're financing your own exhaustion. And their solution is budget better. Like you're out here buying Ferraris and filet mignon every single day. When in all reality, you're broke just buying basic needs. And
here's the kicker. You do everything right. You go to school, you get the job, you play by the rules, and you're still barely hanging on. It's not your fault. The system was built by design. They want you broke, distracted, and grateful for crumbs because a stressed, tired population doesn't rebel. It complies.
So I want to continue this conversation about how 99, I'm going to say 99, not even 95, 99% of us living in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area are suffering. And I want to continue this conversation in hopes that I will not only get more answers as to why other people think this is happening, but I will find all the other New Jerseyans and New Yorkers that are suffering in this with me. I feel like the American dream that they sold you is dead. At this point, I feel like it's a big fat lie. Because technically I did everything I was supposed to do. And my husband, he really did what he was supposed to do. This man suffers from Crohn's disease. And through the worst flare-up of his entire life, where he weighed the same weight as me, he went to school full-time and worked a job full-time. So he literally would work overnight shifts, get off at 7 in the morning, and then go to school at like 12 in the afternoon. And we're not just talking just like regular business school or whatever. We're talking engineering. He chose engineering because it's a great lucrative career, right? Well, he bust his aspirin, went to school, literally got the sickest he's ever been in his life, literally failed the class because he was so sick. We had a baby, went through COVID. I mean, such hard times in our lives. He pushed forward and graduated. And guess what? He makes no more money than he was making before. Can't even find a job that would pay him $150K. And $150K might sound like a lot to some, but that is literally nothing for here. You need at least $200K in the household to survive. And I want to focus on my fashion business. So not only can we not afford a home, we can barely afford rent. Something's gotta give.
I don't understand how fucked up America gotta be for you to work hard and still have no fucking where to go. It's just like, oh my gosh, when is it all going to end? Like, y'all, it's so bad to the point where even though you work, you more than likely can't even eat every day. Not even 3 times a day. Me, none. Yet they expect us to keep working with a smile on our face. Fuck all of that. I be seeing why people don't fucking want to work. They pay us a little bit of money, but make everything fucking expensive. I'll be damned if I'm putting my life on the line for $14, $15. And then the whole time, your ass can get hurt or die at the fucking job you're at. So now you done fucking wasted your whole life being a hard worker to a company that don't give a fuck about what you got going on. Don't give a fuck that you don't have nowhere to go. Just don't give a good goddamn. And certain people will never understand the frustration. You guys will never understand unless you're going through it. There is no reason why hard workers can't afford to eat, can't afford to live, can't afford to pay rent. It is so much. And I just wanted to let everybody out there know, okay? If you are deciding to bring your ass to America, hold on, y'all. Stay the fuck over there. Do not come over here. Please. I beg of you. This shit sucks. All prayers to all my Americans, all my USA motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, my cousins, all that. We gotta figure something out, because this ain't gonna work for me.
Hi guys, it is Rody once again. So it has been over 30 years I left my homeland to travel to Europe and seek for greener pastures. For over 30 years, I was able to give birth to many children. Now, throughout this period of time, I have not been able to take my children to Africa. None of them. I haven't been able to take them to Africa at any time. every end of the year, we spend it here in Europe. It is not as if I do not want to take my children to go see their homeland where their parents came from. But the reality is, I don't have the money to sponsor that trip. Are you listening to me? I do not have the money. I don't have the money to sponsor that trip. Listen attentively now. There are so many people of African descent living in abroad, in diaspora, who cannot sponsor their family. What I mean by family is their wife and children, or their husband and children, to go see their native land. In fact, 70% of the people living in abroad are not able to sponsor their children, their entire family, to go see their native land. Many children that were born in abroad, when I'm in the Western world, or other places, other continents, I am talking about children of African descent that were born in diaspora. Many of them have not gone to see where their parents came from. You know, when I make my videos, you see some people say, "Uncle, you are discouraging us." I am not discouraging you. I'm keeping it real. Only few men are bold to come say things, to come outside, or go to social media, or come on social media and say things the way they are. You see, we are approaching the end of the year. Many people are stuck here in Europe. Many people are stuck here in Europe. That's the trend there. Let me allow this trend to just, So, many families are stuck here in Europe. It does not mean they do not want to travel to Africa or somewhere else. They do not have the money. They cannot afford it. So now, I came to seek for greener pastures. The question is, did I find the greener pastures? You hear about American dream. Yes, when we were in Africa, we heard about American dream. Many people who traveled to US, to America, did not in any way find or achieve that American dream. Many are homeless. Many are broke. Many are regretting that move. So look at where I am now. You see, everywhere is lonely. You see how lonely the road is. This is how I have been celebrating end of the year. You may say Christmas every year. This morning, my wife said to me, "For how long are we going to keep celebrating end of the year in Europe? When are we going to celebrate end of the year in Africa?" This morning, my wife asked me, she said to me, "When are our children going to see their parents' native land?" Now, after watching this video, you decide for yourself if we actually achieved our purpose of coming to abroad or not. Well, my name is Rodi. Follow my page for more interesting videos. Man, it's raining, but I came outside to drop this message. I like keeping it real. See you in my next video.
Are you aware that they designed this world to make it unenjoyable for us? We literally have to work 5 days a week when there's 7. They take taxes out of our paycheck. We have to pay taxes for everything that we buy. Everything type of property we own is taxed through registration, insurance. We just get a couple of choices. And the choices is based off your income. So if you have high income, you get to buy organic and grass fed. If you have low income, you get to get beans and rice. What is that?
We can't afford our rent. We can't afford our prescriptions. We can't.
Are you sure about that? Welcome back to part 4 of the United States might as well be 50 third world countries stacked up in a trench coat. California and New York, don't worry, you're coming up next. Texas is so big that it could fit multiple third world countries inside of the bounds of its state lines. You could also fit the statistics from multiple third world countries within the outcomes of how they run that state. Texas has a poverty rate of about 14 to 15%. That's worse than Croatia, Bulgaria, Thailand, Poland, Estonia, Latvia, Uruguay, Slovakia, and Belarus. Y'all infrastructure and power grid is made out of popsicle sticks. How the hell can Siberia withstand freezing rain, but y'all gotta shut the whole state down? Texas is home to one of the highest uninsured populations when it comes to health insurance in this country. At 16 to 18%, y'all might as well be the Dominican Republic. Let's not forget the slave labor. That's right, some of the most profitable industries in that state use a prison camp. Sounds a lot like North Korea. Every 100,000 births, 35 to 40 women die in this state. Y'all might as well be Kazakhstan. Not only could Texas be a third world country, it would be one that leads the rest of the third world countries and a lot of the worst reasons to be a third world country. If you want to know how your state shakes out, go ahead and put it in the comments. Feel free to give me a follow. I'm trying to get this page to 10K so I can make it a series.
If you are working 40 hours a week as an American and you are, let's say, a manager of a store, you are not making enough money to live here by yourself. You are going to be accumulating debt. And if you end up getting sick and have to go to the emergency room, it is very likely that you are going to fall into a lot of debt. And you will have to work the rest of your life to pay that debt off, unless you want to go bankrupt. But bankruptcy here in America means you lose your status to get things like credit cards, houses, cars, etc. So you are actively being punished for being poor. The point of America right now is to literally work until you die. They want us working until we're well in our 80s. And only then are we allowed to live our life. We've been told this is normal. This is not normal. I don't want to wait until I am that old to enjoy life. And I don't think that is an unfair thing to ask. I should be able to have a family, be able to afford to take them to school, be able to afford to have time off with them, and not work more than 40 hours a week and get health care. But instead, I went to college, I got a job, I work my ass off, and I cannot afford any of those things just for myself, let alone to have a family. Compared to many other countries, that is an awful way to live.
Well, in today's episode, we are seeing that different Americans are coming out to express their deep concern about the chilling yet true reality that the American dream is dying. Yes, most Americans are coming out to claim that the long claimed and long talked about American dream is finally coming to its deathbed. And there are very many reasons as to why you are seeing most Americans are having this kind of reaction at this particular point in time. As you've noticed currently, there are some drastic changes that are happening in US government, especially since Trump came into power. And you are seeing collapses of major basic structures in the United States, that is ranging from education, health, housing, finance, and also the most important of them, food. And according to the American dream, it was always believed that America is a land of opportunity and everyone, regardless of their background, would have an equal chance to have a better shot at better education, better healthcare services, and also better housing services. However, this pessimistic idea of the American dream is dying comes from a variety of reasons. And as you've noticed, lately this mainly stems from the fact that in the recent times it's becoming harder and harder for the regular American to own a home, or let's say to own a house, compared to the older generation. And this is mainly facilitated by the huge gap between the haves and the have nots. And most of these factors are usually based in racial discrimination, systemic racism, gender inequality, and the growing social class that we are seeing among the Americans. And with time, it's becoming difficult for the regular American to afford the basic needs that are required for survival. And this is especially becoming hard for the immigrants who moved to America to seek these greener pastures, as it is just dawning on them that the American dream that they have been chasing is becoming an illusion. As for the first time in history, we are seeing the collapse of the US economy, and Americans are coming out to call it, as you've seen in the previous episodes. And in the attached clips, you are seeing that Americans are now claiming to be the brokest and yet living in the most expensive society in the world. Well, this is facilitated by some of the most inhumane policies that are being passed by Trump's government. And for instance, you can see the American farmers complaining about these policies that have hugely affected their farming activities. This is mostly highlighted during the mass deportation of immigrants who served as a major labor source for the American farmers. And you're seeing since their deportation, the production has been sharply cut down. And other than that, you're again seeing some policies being passed by Trump affecting farmers in certain states like Kansas, whereby we are seeing farmers are not able to afford the basic farm inputs that they usually use to produce the crops in America. And again, due to this reason, we are seeing a sharp rise in food prices in America, whereby the price of egg is shooting day in, day out, and is lately becoming unaffordable to the regular American who works from 9 to 5. And to add to this, with the recent shutdown of the central government, that is by Trump, that is after the senators failed to come up with an amicable way of distributing the resources collected by the government, we are seeing a total shutdown whereby Americans will have to find a way in which they will have to pursue or convince the government to open up the funds, which is interestingly their own taxes that should be released to support the American economy, which, as we all know right now, it's becoming harder and it's taking a downward trajectory, hurting the regular American. And you're seeing various sectors being affected, the health sector being the first one to be affected, the food sector that is going back to the farmers, and again, we are seeing the housing sector whereby it's becoming more and more expensive for a regular American to own a home. That is compared to their predecessors and the older generation. The current generation of America, that is the millennials and the Gen Zs, are having a hard time owning a home in America. And this is again coupled with the huge education debt or loans that these students who have gone through college are being burdened by the American government. So, to summarize everything, the current American individual believes that the American dream is dead and it's an illusion, and it's about time that everyone comes to a reality that capitalism has led to the downfall of America, and we are seeing the haves having a better lives compared to the have-nots who are higher in number, and this is causing attention in the society, and we are seeing that with due time Americans will come out, let's say the ones that don't have the regular or the necessary requirements for survival. And we all know that in times of desperate moments, desperate measures can usually be taken in order for the individual to survive. And this goes back to the Darwinian theory of the survival, whereby you will see that it's only the strongest that will survive. And for Americans, they are being pushed to that point And you'll see that for individuals who don't have the necessary resources to move out of the country, they'll have no other option than to fight back. And will this be the beginning of another civil war in America? We don't know. Kindly don't forget to share your thoughts and comments with me in the comment section. Thank you once again for watching this episode, and see you in the next one.